Okay, we got episode 3 starting now. So we actually have quite a bit of advice this week. We've got 2 from last week and 2 from this week, and then we have a mail-in, which I'll read at the end. It's a little disturbing. Before that, we got some housekeeping, I suppose. What have I been up to? I went on a walk yesterday. I took a picture of some flowers. I went to the store. I went to a cultural ceremony at the school I dropped out of. And I told the truth about being a dropout, and everyone was very kind to me. And I actually harvested some white sage at a city lot, and it's been drying out quite nicely, so it'll be ready to burn, I don't know, probably within the next day or 2. So that's fantastic. So a lot of cool things happening, I suppose. What else? The autofocus is being screwy. That's okay. Yeah, I don't know. My life's not that exciting. I had a weird powdered energy drink yesterday. It kind of made my stomach feel a little weird. That's about it, really. I mean, I don't know. I don't do too many crazy, exciting things. I found an Obi-Wan soap at the store on the internet, but that's not very exciting either. I think the issue is, well, maybe not an issue, but my life is relatively mundane. So even though I do quite a bit, like, hold on, let me go. We'll cut that out, or we'll leave it in. I do a decent amount. Like, I do shit throughout the day. Like, I take out the garbage. I do a bunch of shit around the house. I talk to people. I go for walks. I take pictures. I write shit. But I mean, it's nothing. It's not super reportable. You know, it's not super exciting. So unfortunately, there's not a great deal to say about it. One thing I guess is noteworthy. I had a Beetlejuice. I tried a Beetlejuice green apple Fanta, and it tasted like slime. Like, it tasted like sewer slime. Like, if you ever watched like a cartoon, like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and there was some kind of weird green slime, then it probably looked kind of yummy if you're anything like me. If you're anything like me, it looked very yummy, actually. In reality, though, it's not yummy. It's not even a little bit yummy. It's actually rather gross. Rather disgusting, even. So that's not ideal whatsoever, to have a big, gross green slime. No. Something halfway reportable is I went to an espresso bar full of Italians. There was all Italians working there, and that was exciting. Show coffee bar if you're in Winnipeg, I guess. And I've just doxed myself. But you all know where I live. I don't know. You probably find out. It doesn't really matter. If you want to come kill me, you will. Me saying where I live isn't going to stop that. I don't think. I think it's a foregone conclusion. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. If it's not going to happen, it's just not going to happen. It's that simple. So I think this week we're going to shoot for 30 minutes because we do have a decent amount of advice. And then I also have a safety lesson before we get into the advice. I think that's very critical because we have what possibly is a lurker in the comment section, which isn't good at all, especially because a lot of parents show the children my videos. A lot of grandpas and grandmas are showing their grandchildren my videos. A lot of aunts and uncles showing their nieces and nephews, and so on and so forth. So the last thing I want is a lurker in my comment section. It's the last thing I want. I've met a few lurkers in my day. 1 or 2 lurkers who tried to lurk towards me, but I was always no. So they never got me. But they could have. I was a little boy. You could have took me away. Could take a little boy away. Wouldn't have been hard. Nobody would have stopped you. So yeah, I mean, it's not. You got to look out for these kinds of things, and that'll be later, and then we'll do last week's advice first, because those people have been waiting so long, and I'd hate to make them wait an additional 10 minutes or whatever, because that's just not fair to them. They need their advice, and some of these questions are time sensitive. Like one of these is pretty critical, I'm thinking. The rest of them are sort of like day-to-day issues. Some of these aren't even necessarily phrased like a question. Like the lurker didn't phrase it like a question. They just said what they're going to do to you, or well, us, or me, perhaps, if it's directed towards me. So if you see a lurker in the comment section, watch out. Don't go in their house. Don't go in their car. And the nice thing is that at least half of my audience are adults, so those adults, you can buddy up with the kids, protect them. So if you ever see any kids in the comment section, comment and say, hey, I'm an adult, I can help. But to the kids, if somebody says that to you, don't trust them. But in my comments, you will be able to trust them after this episode. But if you're watching this the day it comes out, it's still a no-go. If you're watching this a week after it comes out, certainly everyone will have gotten the memo by then. And yeah, you can trust any adults in the comment section you find, except for this one character, who I left anonymous because I don't want to blow up their spot. We all deserve a fighting chance, I guess. So that's what's going on with me. What's going on in the world? That's a great question. It's almost the fall season. It is the fall season. The fall equinox happened. And that means there's going to be monsters lurking. There's going to be demons and Al Ghouls. So to all the fans in the comment section who are scared of monsters, just stay inside. For the love of God, don't leave the house. If you look outside, you see a monster, you lock the door. And trick or treat. The monster comes to your door, says, I'm going to trick you if you don't feed me. Don't let them in. They can trick you all they want. That's not right. It's not the law. It's against the law. That's a crime. And I know the law. Right? I studied it in grade 12, which was a number of years ago, but still, it's still relevant. The law doesn't really change too much. I mean, by Job it might, but I don't think it does. So that's about it. That's the housekeeping for the most part. Took 8 minutes, but we're here. And I think that I'm going to try to get some guests. I would like to get some guests on, is what I would like. Perhaps next episode we'll have a guest. Perhaps next episode we'll have 2 guests, or 3 or 4. Probably only 2. The problem is that I don't have a dedicated mic setup. I have the camera. I have you right there. And the camera's mic is pretty good for the most part, but I'm not sure how it would work with having 2 people on. Like let me see if the left level, if it's directional. It's not directional. It doesn't change based on where I'm located. So although they are reading different levels, I think it's just a syncing issue. So that would be a bit of an issue. And then I don't know. It's not a terribly wide angle. So if this is let's say this is like a car, I guess you could have someone, if this is like the dash. So but now I'm sort of just thinking out loud. So look out for that. Perhaps next episode we'll have a guest on. Perhaps. No promises to you, the fans, or the guest. If I do have a dedicated mic setup in the future, I would ideally like to have a consistent guest schedule, but that, once again, that's up in the air because I don't have it. So there's no point for talking about it till it. Fuck it. Fuck. The autofocus is a little screwy today. And there's nothing I can really do about it because I don't care too much. But I don't want to... I gotta be careful not to... I don't have a tripod right now either, so... Motherfucker. So what you're watching right now is the mic. The camera is set up... Oh my god, dude. There we go. The camera is set up on a candle. There's a big candle, and then because it's too low, the angle, the candle is behind a Tupperware. So the camera's on the candle, and the lens is resting on the Tupperware's lid, so that it can get me in the shot. Otherwise, you only get like here, but if you put it on top of the Tupperware, then you only get like this. So it's all screwy. You don't get a good frame. So, you know, if anyone wants to buy me a $100 mic or a $60 tripod, feel free. That's super very reasonable. So yeah, go to town, I guess, if you want. If that's what you want to do. But I mean, the mic is pretty good on the camera, so for one person, I don't think it's that big of a deal. For two people, then it becomes more complicated because it's just not. It's not what the camera's built for. So yeah, I think we can probably get into the advice now. I think 11 minutes is a good stopping point for the housekeeping and whatnot. So I said we're going to start with the safety lesson. So here's this safety lesson that we're going to start with. One of the commenters, if you can see that, one of the commenters said, if anyone wants to sit in a car and be on an episode 2, I can make that happen. Excuse me? Once again, I left this person anonymous, but excuse me? You're in my comment section offering to give people rides? So to any kids in the comment, to any kids, that's like me but half. To any kids listening, don't respond to this comment. Don't get in this person's car. Don't sit in their car. You don't know who this is. This is a stranger. I don't even know if I know who this is. I do know who it is, but I don't know who this is actually. This could be a predator. This could be a lurker. This could be I don't want to say pedophile, but it could be. So this person wants you to sit in their car. They don't even say the make and model. They don't say where they are. They don't say what city they live in, what country, and you know why? Because they'll find you. They don't need you to know where they are because they'll find you. If you respond to that comment, they'll get you and they'll take you away. They'll take you away, and your mommy and daddy will never see you again, ever again. Your mommy, if you go to this person, mommy and daddy will never see you again. They'll take you away. So that's the safety lesson, and I want to sort of, for my commenters, we're gonna do a sort of tactic. It's called the BARD tactic. So that it's an acronym. So B is be aware of lurkers. A is always attack lurkers. R is recognize the lurkers. And D is destroy the lurkers. So that's 4. That's an acronym that you can remember. So you be aware. So are there lurkers or aren't there lurkers? After you're aware, then you take it to A, attack, and that's attack plan. I should have said you build an attack plan, and then R, you recognize the lurker, you find them, you find the lurker, and then 4, you destroy them. You leave hate comments. That's it. That's all you can do. So, yeah, that's that. That's that for the awareness. But I will be contacting you because I do want to do an episode in the car. So so don't leave a hate comment there, but also don't ask my viewers to get in your car anymore. That's not safe. So let's get into the advice. So, the first question is... My question from last episode was, I'm a gamer, and how do I monetize this lack of real-life skill? Am I fucked? Kinda, yeah. But I'm going to try to give you some advice. So, I too am a gamer. I've never made money off of this, ever. In fact, it's only ever cost me money, and probably a decent amount at that. Like, my PS5 is like $700 or some shit. I don't know. That's not making money. That's losing. And then you're spending all that working time gaming. Gaming every day. Gaming, watching porn, gaming, sleeping, watching porn, gaming, sleeping. That cycle repeats ad infinitum, which is Latin for doing it for a really long time. So, I think you have two paths ahead of you. One is to stop being a gamer and get a job, or get a real skill. That sucks. I don't want to do that either. So, find out how to transfer that into the real world is my advice. So, let's say you play a lot of Counter-Strike. Maybe become an army man, so you can, because it's just like the game. Like you're a counter-terrorist. You're shooting, or become a terrorist. Yeah, like Counter-Strike. You could also become a professional gamer like Ninja, and you could play Fortnite, or the Juicer, and you could play GTA RP and cheat on your wife like Moon. You could also you could become a quality assurance tester, where you just sort of if you find a glitch. Let's say you're playing a new Ubisoft game, you find a glitch. Okay. Now repeat that glitch 100 times. And that's not very fun, I hear, but it's, it's still gaming. So, to answer your question, am I fucked? No-ish. No, not unless you become a professional gamer, terrorist, or if you play Tetris a lot, you could become a stacker. Whatever that, you could stack stuff. That you could do too. So that's my advice to you. Is no, you're not fucked, for the most part. But probably, I've been applying for jobs, can't find one. So thank you for your advice, or your question. Please let me know how that goes. If you get a job, or if you monetize that lack of real life skill you say you have. I've seen your gaming videos. They're pretty good. You're pretty funny. Maybe you could upload. They're pretty funny. Maybe Patreon. Also, that's advice. So thank you. Let me know how that goes. And then another question from last week. How do I stop wiping so many times? That's all it says. There's not even a question mark. So this is a sort of like last week, where someone said, how do I do blank, or how do I do whatever it is they want to know. This person wants to know, how do they stop eating candies? This person wants to know, how do I stop wiping so many times? Now, I don't know how you mean. I don't know if you mean so I'm going to have to answer the question in two ways. Yeah, you could mean one, or A, you could mean A, I poop so much that I'm always having to wipe. I don't want to do that anymore. You could also mean B. Well, there's three. So there's B. I poop. When I poop, there's so much poop, and I don't know how to stop. And 3, I wipe too much and I bleed. That happens to people. So you're gonna have to be more. You're gonna have to be more specific, I think. Next time, if you ask another question, but I appreciate your question, even if it's not, even if I don't know what you mean. So let's attack all of them. So A, let's say you're pooping too much. You could just deal with it, and you could just get a bidet, and the bidet could clean your booty for you instead of the toilet paper. That'll save you money for sure. You could also eat less food. That'll make you poop less. Although this person, I think, maybe should not do that. So you could also eat food that produces less poop. If it's like, oh, I make so much, well, that's the same one. So, and then C, let's say you're just wiping till you hurt yourself and you're not realizing. What you could do is you go wipe and then just look at the toilet paper. It's kind of gross, but at least you'll know. So I think that's all I can really do for you. I hate to say it, but it seems like your option is look at your toilet paper, eat less food, which I don't think you should do, or use a bidet. So that's yeah. The looking at the toilet paper one isn't super ideal because it's gross, and the bidet costs money. So either you're gonna have to make a power play here where you decide like, oh, do I want to spend money or do I want to look at my poopy toilet paper? These are the questions we have to ask ourselves as adults, and you know, my God, do I know how difficult that is? It's not as if I think it's easy to wipe your bum. I don't think that's an easy thing to do. I think it's tough, especially when you eat a lot of yucky foods that make you make big messy, and mommy, daddy can't help. That's a serious concern, and it's something a lot of people deal with, and we make fun of it, right? We're laughing at this user, and don't go find out who it is. I made their names anonymous. It's public on the channel, so don't go look. And it is on the first YouTube video. It is on the first Advice for Buffoons episode 1. This episode is called episode 3, Advice for Geniuses, by the way. Last one was called Learning and Growing. This one's Advice for Geniuses. So don't go find out who this user is. Don't make fun of them. Don't pick on them, because that's not right. That's not fair. That's not kind. So yeah, I do wish you luck with not wiping, or I guess stop wiping so many times, whatever that means. So yeah, good advice, or good question, again. So now we move on to this week, and again, we got another anonymous question. So also, if you want the questions to not be anonymous, leave a comment, because I don't really care. So this one is, my question of the week is, how do you keep the pillow feeling cool when sleeping? That's a good question, and it's one that I can easily answer. So you could get there's two answers like usual. The first is they have Stay Cool pillows that you can buy on the internet, and allegedly they stay cool. But what you could also do, and here's a devious piece of advice, you could put your pillow in the freezer. You could put the pillow in the freezer, or you could have a freezer bag in your pillow, and so when you sleep, the pillow will be frozen cold. And unless your head unless you're Lava Girl, or your head is like some kind of demon, that should be perfectly fine to keep your head cool if you have this frozen pillow. And as an added bonus, if you have a frozen pillow, if a lurker comes in, because the pillow's cold, you can always hit this lurker, hit this child predator, this taker, with the pillow, and it'll kill them because the pillow's so hard. So, to summarize, you could buy one, or you could just put your pillow in the freezer. And your mom and dad and sister might get mad if you have a pillow in the freezer, because they want to put their frozen peas, and they want to put their toys, and they want to put their aliens, and they want to put their ice cube, and they want to put their blocks in the freezer. But what they have to understand is that the freezer is for helping the family, and what helps the family is a cool pillow when sleeping. So, to this user, I think you've got a lucky situation here in that it's a relatively easy fix. It's not too hard to get a cold pillow. If you're already sleeping and you don't know how to keep the pillow cool while you're asleep, now that's a more complicated issue, and that one I think you're going to need to do some kind of, well, I don't know, some kind of hypnosis or whatnot, or sort of, so I don't know exactly how to help with that one, unfortunately. I wish I did, but Yeah, so that's if you're sleeping already, I don't know how to help you. But if it's the other thing, I think I figured it out. So that's fantastic news. Because it seems like, it really feels like I'm going to roll with this advice here, and usually it feels like, well, there's only been 2 episodes, but last 2 episodes it didn't feel like the advice was super strong. I felt like I was sort of floundering, and it felt like I was a buffoon, and it just, I didn't feel super strongly about how it was going, and everyone thought I was stupid, and there were a couple comments being like, "You're stupid, you're dumb, I don't like you," and I'm like, guys, come on, don't say this to me. But things are going good now. So here's the last question of the week, and this one I saved sort of the most. Although I do have the mail-in one, but this one's a tough one because I can't say one of the words that's in it. I'm not allowed, and the other one is this is a serious issue. How do I get my mother to stop calling me the N-word? I'm white, but it still hurts. So I guess it sort of depends on what. Obviously, it depends on what the N-word is. I think we know what it is. It's the one we're not. It's the one we're not supposed to say. So that one is. Tough because it also depends on how she's saying it. Is she saying it with a Z at the end? Is she saying it with an R? Is she saying it with an A? It doesn't make it better, but it certainly sort of helps you understand. And you say you're white, so you're obviously not black. And your mom, I assume, is white as well. So, how do I get my mother to stop calling me the N-word? I think there's a couple tactics, and I think you can sort of do a escalation of force. The first, obviously, if you haven't tried this one already, is say, and you can even quote me on this, "Hey, Mom, don't call me the N-word. I'm white, but it still hurts." And that's what you could say to her. And she might listen to you. She might not know that the N-word is bad. If she's like old as piss, if she's old as fucking shit, she might not know that that's a swear word. She might not know. She might not know. And it's not her, well, it is her fault. Should be saying that word. The second escalation of force you could do is you could shout at her and say, "Hey, don't call me that word." So that fist is an indication of the next escalation. The escalation number 3 is that you threaten her and you say, "If you keep calling me that word, I will beat your ass." The 4th escalation is, "If you keep calling me that word, I will kill you." The 5th escalation is you fucking punch her. You punch your mom. Slap your mama. So escalation 5 is slap your mama. Escalation 6 is kill her. Obviously, I don't like to encourage killing, and if I actually don't think I can get monetized now because I said kill. I think I should have said unalive, but it's too late, and I'm not editing it out. So, I think you're basically tell her to stop loud, threaten her harder, attack her, kill her. That's sort of the 6 escalations. And I think you should only need to get to escalation 4, probably 3. You probably only need to get to escalation 3. So I really do wish you luck with that one. Once again, let me know how it goes, and thank you for your question. And now we got a quick one here. Do I have to? This one, it was mail-in. I don't know if you can read it. It says, "Do I have to sniff 2 things?" Do I have to sniff 2 things? No. You don't. You have 1 nose. You only have to smell 1 thing if you really. You don't even have to smell anything. You could plug your fucking nose. Don't send me letters like this. Do I have to sniff 2 things? Obviously not. The fuck? So thank you for your questions to everyone except that last person. So this will be I'll just keep talking for a few seconds so I can get no, because I have an intro. So 30-minute episode.